Tell you what, it's darn right cold outside here in Wichita. We got ourselves a wind blowing 15 to 20, and it's 40 degrees. They promise us we'll make 50 today. It's supposed to be in the high 60s tomorrow, so something to look forward to. Hope springs eternal. Started out this morning on the E-mini, thinking we'd have buyers 40 to 45, sellers 55 to 60. We had resistance at 55, 57, then 60, 63. And then 65 to 67, and we were picking up these points right here. This low volume number right here. I showed you that D split from the other day. 55, 57, then we had this high volume area down here, 40 to 45. 50 holds, the low is 50, 50, and that's the first hint we get. Just a second. Apologize for that. Been waiting for that call all day. So the market is stronger. The second possibility we saw was a short squeeze because of all of this selling that had come before, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. We got ourselves the short squeeze. This morning we had a couple of good trades short off that 55, 57, then a trade short off the 59 area that worked. We had a nice buy when we raised our buy from 45, 47 to 50, 52. So you have to be flexible. Now, one of the things for those of you that are visiting the room, a lot of people, when they first get into this game, and at cocktail parties, I mean, the only question you ever get asked is, which way you think the market's going to go? And if you think it's going higher or lower, where do you think it's going to stop? And that's an entirely different question and proposition than can you make me some money trading, and if so, where? Our first trade of the day is right 3 out of 4 times, and I think we've missed the note one day this week on the overall assessment of which way it was going to go. That's 3 out of 4. We've had good trades every day this week in the E-mini. So if you ask the right question, you get the right answer, and that's really the wrong question to ask, but it's the one everybody wants to ask. So we had 2 possibilities. A market contained 40 to 45, 55 to 60, or a short squeeze, and we've gotten the short squeeze. Our second resistance point was 63.50, and we might go higher. We've got an attractor up here, so this 67, 68 area, this little low volume area, is within reach on a squeeze, and it's fairly easy to engineer with high frequency trading and enough capital. And a lot of these firms have a lot of capital. I mean, if you got $100 billion under your control as a high frequency trader, you can do pretty well when it comes to manipulating the market. You can just get one other person to go with you, you're in. So the first trades this morning came out of the 55, 57 area. We had Y period, Z period, B period trades right there. Then the 59 area came in the D period. All trades were winner. And when we moved up from our buy from 45 to 47, we had a nice buy in the 50-52 area. So right here we've got resistance at 65, 70. We've got support at the breakout at 59.60, 50, 55, 57, and then our 50-52. Now, if this is real buying and not just a squeeze, this market should be higher in Globex and Monday morning. My feeling is it's a squeeze. And so I don't mind getting short up here. So we're going to make our first sell. We're going to make it failure to take out 63.65 on the assumption we're closing. In the 62.63 area. And then the sell 2 would be the 69.71 area. On the buy side, we're going to make it 55, 57. It's just the start of this move, and my idea that it's a short squeeze is behind most of the buying today, and then 50, 52 will be buy 2. But if we can't break that 59 area, then we'll have to pay up to get long in the 60 area. So that's my take on the E-mini. Europe is closed on Monday. Now, for a continent that has lost a lot of religious participation, they're taking Easter Monday off. Now, you're not a very religious part. The religious participation on the continent is less than 50%. How do you get Monday off for Easter? What's the idea behind that deal? Maybe you can be for holidays and not be religious. How's that? Okay, we got the E-mini covered now. On to the note. Note just got hammered today. I missed this call. It was a trend day lower, big day down. And part of it's probably it allows the primary dealers to get short in front of next week's 2, 5, and 7-year auctions. The pattern is up in the auction week, down in the post-auction week, setting up the next auction. These primary dealers get heavy short, and it's by covering these shorts that they support the market when the auction gets underway. So the 2-year is on Tuesday, 5 years on Wednesday, 7 years on Thursday. And the shorts that were put on today and maybe Monday are what they're going to use to support the 2, 5, and 7-year auction. The peace talks out of Geneva, all fine and good. Ukraine's going to recognize, give more autonomous rights to the people in the eastern Ukraine. Everything was supposed to be fine, and then when it was all said and done, Ukraine said, oh, by the way, the military operations in the eastern Ukraine will continue. So hard to know exactly what's going on over there. Got a high volume number down here at 16. I'd like to buy against that number, but the first trade will be a sell based on this chart. Looking at the F2 screen, it's the same pattern, heavy selling, and definitely be triple distributions lower. Usually the first trade is after a pause day, after an trend day is a pause day. Sell on the strength to see if you can extend the range lower, and if you can't, work it back and forth as people cover their shorts. And next week's auction could be entirely behind this selling today. I mean, there's no news out here that would make the market sell like this. And trend days come out of left field. You don't see them. They get started and they take on a life of their own. And they're only 2 to 4 days a month. And so you can't spend a lot of time worrying about trend day. And today's unusual. There was no news to really drive this. We did have jobless claims and we did have Philly Fed, but those usually don't impact the market in a big way. So we're going to sell failure to take out 24.28 and then 31 to 03. Going to make the buy 13 to 17. Then 5 to 9. We do have LEI for news on Monday morning, but that usually doesn't do much either. So my guess is it's the next week, the auction week. It's the dealer setting up the auctions. Quick look at the bond, which was a huge trade today. You can find it. There it is. So here we are at 33.23. We've got volume down here in the 33 area. That's quite a stretch. I do think we'll be lower. So last rotate up was 27. Sell failure to take out 28 to the buck. Maybe Jimmy, what's the knob spread out? I forgot to do that. And then 3 to 7 for sell 2. The buy side will open it up a little bit. 13 to 17. Then 5 to 9. Nothing has really changed fundamentally. So my feeling is this is a just setting up next week's auction. But if we get heavy-duty follow-through selling on Monday, we take out today's lows and we continue to sell, then something has changed. Too bad we can't know that before the fact, right? Okay, gold came off and was selling last time I looked. We had hoped to buy, our number 2 buy area was down 92 today, pretty far away from the market. Number 1 area was 98 to 1300. Couldn't get through 1304 and the market sold. So a lot could happen between now and Monday morning. I don't know what type of peace agreement was reached. If you believe the people out of Geneva, and that deal's already been kind of broken. Peace will return to the Ukraine and Russia. My feeling is that Russia really's got to be careful on this deal. Be careful what you wish for. And you just, when you take over a hostile population where people are willing to die, and they are willing to die in the Ukraine, I mean that's fraught with risks. That's not an easy thing to do. So I'd like to buy into weakness on gold and maybe a little lower, and see what happens. And we'll basically make the sell at 1300 plus or minus. So 90.92 on the buy side, then 85.87. And let's see if crude came up after that last little piece of news, after the peace agreement was reached. Yes, it did come up quite a bit. So the reaction to rumors of war is still driving energy, as you'd expect it to. Damn, isn't this fun? Just think about it. All the stuff we got to figure out to come in here and make a little. Then we got to have a methodology, and then we have to recognize that methodology real time. And then we've got to grow personally and take the trades. I mean, what could be more fun than that? Sitting on a beach somewhere? Yeah, for a week maybe. But you can get tired of that too. Life is purpose. It's not amusement or activity. Got to have something to make it meaningful. And screwing around on a beach in Mexico or someplace doesn't make life meaningful. That's a lot of fun, but even that gets tired after a while. I mean, if you want to see the outcome of not having to work, take a look at rich people's kids. And quite often they're not happy and meet really pathetic ends because of idle amusement. activity. And the more money you make, the more materialistic you are. Debauchery is the end of the road for most of those people, and I mean that's where you're going to end up as you try to titillate your sensibilities more and more and more and experience the law of diminishing returns. Okay, the euro is sold pretty good. Don't have a real fundamental specific piece of news to put my fingers on, but my bearish stance on the euro. I think every rally is an opportunity to sell. We're in a trading range. We got a seller at 138.75. We've had a buyer at 137.75 to 138, and that's where we find. So the top of the trading range held, and we're pointed towards the lower end. So we've got some pretty good buying down here below the buck. So why don't we make 37.90, 37.80 buy one, let them come a little deeper. May have to pay up at 138. I just don't know. And on the sell side, we'll make it 25 to 35. And then 45 to 55 for sell 2. And that's it, folks. I'm done for the week, and I assume you are too. And we've had a great week trading. Next week will be even better. Been fun. Look forward to seeing you bright and early Monday morning. Hope the Easter is meaningful for you and as many different areas as you choose to perceive. Y'all have a great weekend. See ya next week.